it is the IRC public comment dashboard. As you can see the top one, when I highlight it, the public goes away because it turns blue. If we click on that one, that's what we're looking at here. This will show you in the screen. And just looking at the data, I'm actually, once I clicked on that approved congressional draft map 47, I will check in on the sort. I'm not sure that sorted correctly over here on the most recent public comments. So I'll double check on that, but the graph does for sure. Those are really the two new things that we have in the public comment submissions and on the hub for right now. So I don't know, Marie, did you get any questions?
I do. I'll start with these questions first. The Community of Interest report did an overlay with layers of the testimony. Are you going to do the same with all the submitted maps?
You mean the ones that are in the redistricting system? If that's what you're talking about, we don't have a plan to do a big overlay of all the submitted maps. They are all available to everyone. Oops, go back to the redistricting. They are available to everybody here on the hub, where they can go into the redistricting system and explore published plans. And if you oops, clicked on the wrong one, published plan viewer. If you load up the viewer, you can come over here, search for any plans that you want, and you can add them. And you can see as I added them, one goes on top of the other. And if I come up here to the top right corner with the three squares, I can come over here and turn on transparency. So this will allow me to see through the top layer to the bottom one that drew. If I go the opposite way, you can see it only draws the top one. So that's how you could compare it right through that transparency. So that power is in your hands today to start to compare them. If you come over here for the draft maps, I know this only mentions the submitted maps, but if you come over here to the draft maps, and wait for it to load a second. You can either explore them both here, or if you click this Launch Interactive Draft Maps map, this is actually a side-by-side comparison of two maps that are linked together. Let me show you how to work that. If you come up here to the top right-hand corner of each section, so the map is split into two sections, one on the left side and then one on the right side. If I come and click that, hold on a second. Maybe I clicked on the wrong one. Hold on a second. That compare is actually only for the two approved draft maps. So I apologize on that one. If you want to compare pre-draft maps, you can load up this guy, which is down here that says Launch Comparison Application Full Screen. It takes you to this screen here. And now if I come up here and click the three little squares, you can see I have a bunch of different test maps or the approved congressional or the approved legislative draft map that I can turn on. So say I want to compare the improved congressional draft map. All I got to do is click on this little eye here, and that turns it on. And you can see that it drew now. And now if I want to compare it to something on the right-hand side of the screen, I go up to the same spot, those three little squares, and let's say I want to compare it to CD test map version 5.3. I could turn that on. And now you can see on the left side, I have the approved congressional draft map. And on the right side, I have the congressional test map 5.3. And if I close the layer by clicking the X, I can now zoom in on either map, and you can see that the map screens will stay in sync. So say I wanted to sit here and look at the edge of right here on the 202, you could do that, and you can start to see exactly how they stay in sync. And if you want to change it up, just go to the square, and you can say, well, instead of looking at 5.3, let me turn that off by clicking the eye again. It turns it off. Let me go look at CD test map version 7.2. Turn that off, and now you can see again they're side by side in sync, where I can start to compare both sides. And that's how you could start to interact with the approved and the test maps if you wanted to see the versions on there staying in sync. Let's see. So I think that answers Dee's question. If I didn't 100% answer your question, put another comment in there, and I'll be happy to dive in a little further.
Well, Dee sent her thank you, so I'm hoping that did answer her question. So the next question we have is from Tempest, and she says, hi, is there any way to search all the citizens' maps or the citizen comments for specific cities or precincts?
Sure. So if we go back up to the redistricting system and you go into the Explore Public Plan, Publish Plans, you can do a couple things. You can either interact with it directly built into this web page, or if you want something more full screen, you can click on this link. It'll take you to a full screen dashboard. So say you want to focus on congressional, I click on this bar here that's 64, and it filters to the congressional ones. If you want to filter for a city, the way that you'd have to do it is somebody would have to have it listed in the plan description. So say if I did a Control F, so basically doing a find in your browser, I could type in Tucson, and you can see there's 14 mentions of Tucson here in the dashboard. So you can see the first one is plan name CD0063. If I hit the down arrow on my find, the next one that lists Tucson is CD0061. And then if you want to open the specific plan, you can click here on this link and it will open the plan in a different tab. So here's that plan that we were just looking at that said Tucson. So you could zoom in to wherever you want. If you click on the map here, you can see District 6, which covers somewhat of Tucson. Total population, the target deviation, competitive metrics, and any of the other metrics that the person who created it had enabled when they were building the map. And you can do that with any district. So there's District 7, the other side of Tucson. And that's how you can start to interact with that. If you want to go back to the published plan dashboard, you just keep going down. Here's another one that mentions Tucson. There's 14 instances of Tucson that have been submitted. Other than that, there's no real way to search for cities. All full plans should cover the entire state of Arizona. The only ones that might not are the focus plans, which allowed you to submit one district. So if I come here and click on the congressional focused, and I do a search of Tucson, there are no Tucson cities mentioned in anywhere in the plan description, submitted plan name, or organization. That's how you're going to have to interact with specific cities or precincts.
Well, thanks for that, Mark. And here's a general question followed up by somebody's specific question, but we hear a lot of times maps or submitted maps by name. People reference somebody who submitted a map. So how do you find those in the system? And then more specifically, someone asks, are the Latino and Northern Arizona submitted maps in the system to compare with other maps?
So you can see right here in the table, right, IRC plan name, which is the name, normalized name that we gave it, and then the submitted plan names right below it. So there's multiple ways that you can get here. You can use this dashboard to find that out. You can come back over here to the, I had the viewer open somewhere. Let me just come back. If you're in this full screen viewer, and I got everything loaded up. If you click on this little arrow on the bottom of the screen, you see how I open that up. Here is another table that has all of the data in here. So if you want it to be in one screen that has the map and has a table and all of the data that you can turn on without having to go through a lot of different screens, you can come in here and you can see IRC plan name, submitted plan name, the username. So I know some people have mentioned usernames. Then here's all the data: organization, the data was published, the data was submitted, plan description, plan objective. And if you want to open just that specific map in a whole new tab, you can click on this link. Or what you can say is, I want to see CD0064. I come up here to the search box in the Add Submitted Plan widget on the right side. I type in CD0064, click the search. There it is, hit add. And now that is added into my map. If you want to filter by submitted plan name alphabetically, you can do a sort, or you can do a sort descending. So that allows you to quickly get in there and find the name that you want. If you are in the redistricting system, and this is my citizen account, we just got to pick a template to load into first. If you go to the open button here and go to shared plans and go to this folder called RXO_submitted plans, here is all the submitted plans in the redistricting system. So here's the plan name, here's the owner, here's the description. The only thing the redistricting system does not have, it does not have that normalized plan ID. So it does not have the CD0064 ID here. That ID gets assigned once a user submits the plan. Every morning we have a job that takes that plan, gives it an ID, and uploads it to the hub. And the reason that we upload it to the mapping hub is that allows somebody to see it from the public without actually having to make an account in the redistricting system. So there's multiple ways to see that. Okay, I actually can see the question and answer now. So I think the follow-up is, can we search public comments on individual maps using keywords in a similar way you showed us to use the Control F? So I take that as you're talking about the public comment submission dashboard. So sure, so I clicked on the LDF 034 submitted plan, and you can see there's 3 that submitted for it, and here on the right-hand side, here's the 3. So the sort is working correctly. If I want to get out of that, I can click off of that. It brings back all the comments. If I want to look at just the LDF 051, there's the 1 comment that is linked to LDF 051. You can do a control find, and you can search any word in the dashboard that you want. Okay, I think that follows up with Tempest's question, Marie.
Great. And just to clarify, could you find both the Latino Coalition map and the Northern Arizona map and just show people where they are? Those have been two talked about maps, and it would just be interesting to make sure that people can find them.
Sure. So in the hub, you should be able to go to Control Find and type in Latino, or whatever you want, Latino Coalition for Fair Redistricting, whatever keyword that you want to find. And you can see here's District 1, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. And if you want to open it, you can click on Open Plan, and here is the map for it. And you can see it's really small because it's only a legislative district, but there it is in Phoenix. If you wanted to do that in the published plan viewer, you should be able to do, I think, the same Control F. Let's find out. No, it won't see that. So what you'd have to do is you'd have to sort by submitted plan name, and you would have to go find it in the table here. So here's one. Here's Phoenix. So I could say, give me CDF, which is the congressional. I could come in here and type in CDF 007, hit search, and I can add that to the map. I know I already had a map that was drawn in it, so if I wanted to turn that off, I could go to the 3 squares here, which is the layers, and I could say, well, I don't want to look at the CD0064, the full map anymore. So turn that off, and there's the district. If you want to do that in the redistricting system, you can do that too. You're just going to have to sort the plan name, which you can do by clicking on the plan name header. So you can see when I click on it, it either goes alphabetical or reverse order. So if I scroll down here, so congressional Phoenix, South. You can even put a search in here. So there you go. There's ways of getting there. But the hub is the way to do it.
And Mark, I think you see the next question, which is, are you saying that there's, sorry?
The Northern Arizona was another question. Since we did talk about it on Saturday, the Northern Arizona is technically LDF 0050. Oh, there we go, 050, which is here. So that's one of the Northern Arizona ones, and I think 51 is the second. And you can find that out by going in here, sorting by plan name, and CDF, got to get to the L's. The F. So here you go. So LDF 050, plan is submitted on behalf of the Coconino County Board of Supervisors focused on modifying LD6. And the same thing, LDF 051, it was submitted on behalf of the Coconino County Board of Supervisors focused on modifying LD7. Those are the two that were submitted by the Coconino County Board of Supervisors. All right, I'll pass it back to you, Marie.
Thanks, Mark. So the follow-up question is, are you saying there's no way to find, and this is regarding searching for a city, are you saying there's no way to find comments using the word Tucson, for example, to find which of the statewide maps people have commented on Tucson without going through each individual statewide map?
Let's see. Oops, I'm writing the wrong one. Well, you can use the search just like we showed you before. So Control F in the submission dashboard does a search for Tucson. So there's 16 references in Tucson there. If I click on these three little lines right here, you can see download data. So if you want to view it in a data table, you can, oops, that was probably a little fast, sorry. You can go down here to 717 records. You can hit view data table. Here's all the records out there. If you want to download it, you can click on download. You can click the whole CSV and you can have all the comments and you can search for whatever you want in an Excel file or in a CSV that you could open in Excel or whatever software you use to view CSV.
And that was a thanks from our participant who said that's what she needed to know. So, Mark, let's talk about third-party software that we can use to import into the redistricting system. One of the popular ones, for example, I think is called Dave's Redistricting. How does a person who's using that software import it into the redistricting software?
So the first thing they would have to go to is Dave's Redistricting. You're going to have to export it. And I'm only using this 2020 congressional because it's the fastest way of doing that. Download it as a block assignment. And it should download there. And just give me a second. And once you download this block assignment, that's what you're going to use to actually load it up into the redistricting system. So once you got that download, you can see here, you can go into the redistricting system. You can see I've already loaded in, I already selected a template because I was already in here. And all you need to go is to import fixed text format, and you go find the format that you want, and you're going to assign it everything. So let me move some files around. I'll probably be able to show you something. And this video is out there on YouTube. So I hit block assignments. I open that up. You see I got 2020. You can choose states of Arizona. Use county, tract, block, group, block. Keep the district caption, block and district, and hit OK. And it will import all my files. That's how you're going to do it. Hit OK, and it will import everything. Give it a plan name. There you go. I just imported what was downloaded from Dave's. And we can see Dave's District 1 was 768.50. Redistricting system is 768.50 for District 1. That's how you'd import from Dave, Maurice.
Okay, thanks. I have a question myself. So why would a person choose Dave's redistricting versus the redistricting system that we have on our, obviously, IRC web page? What would be the advantages of choosing one over the other to do your own redistricting map?
I think the advantage to what IRC has is you have the exact same data that the commission has using to draw their maps. So I think that's the real advantage by using the IRC system. I don't have any comments on Dave's redistricting.
So but we have all the demographics and that sort of thing in the IRC system, which is usable by a person drawing their own map. And that said, can you show us how a person would start off drawing their map in the IRC system?
Sure. So if I go to, if I wanted to start drawing my own map, if I go update, hold on a second. Look at this. Let me refresh this. This will be the easiest way of doing this. I signed the redistricting system. You got templates that you can choose from to start drawing your own map. You can start from the grid if you want. You can start drawing a single district, or you can start drawing from the improved draft maps, whichever one you want. For this example, we'll just use a focused template where we're going to draw one legislative district. Hit OK. Here we go. All I need to do now is hit the Create tab, change my district to legislative district, zoom in to wherever I want to draw my district. Say I want to draw it out here in the Yuma area. As you can see, as I zoom in, different polygons change. So that'll allow me to draw different block groups, census tracts, census blocks. Right now, you can see up here on my taskbar, my selection level is block group. So as I zoom in more, you can see it changes to block, and I get a lot more polygons on my screen. If I zoom out, I get to track, and you can see the polygons are a lot bigger. So once you get to the scale that you want, zoom out just a tiny bit so it's easier. Go over here, here's my tools. So if I click this first one, it's a point. And you can see I just added that census block group to my legislative district. There's 258 people in there. And here's sort of the breakdown of some of the data that we have enabled. And I can keep just clicking more and more block groups. And you can see it just keeps adding my district and I'm building it. Say I want to take a bigger swipe, I can click on this square here. And let's just say I want all the geographies around here. I drag my square, and it takes all those block groups that were within my square and added it to my legislative district. And if I want to go get these 2 or 3 up here, I can individually click them. Turned out to be 3. I need to zoom in a little bit more. If you can't get it, the easiest way is to grab the square tool again. You grabbed all of them. If I don't want to drag a square, and I want to draw more of a abstract shape, I can click on this guy that's next to it. It looks like a square with the top sort of caved in. Wherever you want to start, click your mouse. You can see I got the red line here. Say I want to go down to this line here. So I click again, and that gives me a corner. Say I want to come over here. When I get to the corner that I want again, click on it. If I want to come up this way, whenever I want to add a new corner, click, 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 and you can see that I can pretty much draw a free form shape. Say I wanted to come in here for some reason and draw more of a, almost looks like an M. I can click there, and when I'm done, all I need to do is double click, and it's going to take that shape and add all of that into my legislative district. And the thing to remember when you're using the polygon tools, right, either the square or this freeform one, if I zoom in here, even if I just catch a little corner of that census block, it's going to add the entire block to my legislative district. And then what I need to do is get to 238,000 and a little more is the proper number, which you can actually find here if you want on the grid map page. You can see it's 238,383. Go back to my redistricting system. Let's say I need some more population, so just going to come out here and grab some land. So I'm getting really close. Now I have 202,000 people. And remember, this is just for example purposes here. Target deviation says I'm 35,406 away from the perfect deviation. And it's also 14.85% under. So if I wanted to move up and say, well, what happens if I add this spot here, which you can see it's a lot bigger selection because now I'm looking at the track level. I'm getting closer. I can keep up here selecting. Okay, so there we go. We're within, under 10% deviation. What I can do now is go to review. I can hit check integrity. This will run all the integrity checks. See how I'm doing. I got all green check marks, which means I'm good. Now I can go to the submit tab, hit submit plan. Because I was working off a template, the first thing I need to do is hit save as. That is this floppy disk with the pencil here. So I need to give it a name. We will say demo for Mapping Mondays, 11/8. Hit OK. And I can say test. Now if I hit submit plan, it's going to run through the integrity checks one last time just to make sure that everything's correct. Hit OK, and then it's going to say put all your contact information in there. I'm not going to hit submit plan. That way it doesn't go out to the hub, but that's the way to do it. And that's how you'd submit a plan, the redistricting system.
Well, thank you, Mark. There are no other questions from the public, so I guess we can wrap this up. Thank you, Mark, again. We will have another Mapping Monday with Mark. If you would go to the IRC's webpage, you'll find all the public meetings, including our virtual town halls, our in-person meetings, and then the next Mapping Monday. Thank you for being here, and I guess we'll see you next time, Mark.
Well, thank you very much. We'll see you next time.